Hi guys, thanks for visiting my channel today. I hope you had a very merry and wonderful Christmas and enjoyed spending time with your loved ones. We're heading into the new year here, and I thought I would take some time and show you how to make one of my family's very favorite appetizers, and that is spinach artichoke dip. It's really easy and really delicious, and my family loves it, and I'm sure yours will too. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring you in close so you can see what's going on in my pan and show you how to do it, and let's get started. Okay guys, here we go. I've got my oven set on 425, and I've got my pan on a medium heat, and we're going to start by adding a couple tablespoons of butter. We're going to saute up some veggies. Now you can leave out the veggies if you like, but this is the way I make it, and this is how my family loves it. So I'm going to melt down some butter here, about 2 tablespoons or so. And then I'm going to add a 1/4 cup of red pepper and about a 1/4 cup of onion. Just a nice white onion or yellow, whatever you like to cook with. And we're going to saute that up in our pan. I'm also going to add about 2 cloves of garlic. Now, if you add your garlic at this point, you just want to be careful to make sure you're moving your veggies around the pan so that your garlic doesn't burn, because it doesn't taste good when it's burned. So let's get that going here. And this is going to take, I don't know, about 5 minutes or so to saute up your veggies. I hope you can see okay. I've got a new camera set up for Christmas, and I'm still experimenting, so I hope you can see everything okay. But anyway, here we go. We're going to saute up our red pepper, onions, and garlic. Now I know red peppers are not typical in spinach artichoke dip, but we had it like that at a restaurant that we ate at one time, and it adds so much great flavor, so I always include it in mine. But if you don't like red peppers, you can certainly leave those out. But I think the onions and garlic for sure you need. They add tons of flavor in the background and make it really delicious. And then what we're also going to do is add a little bit of salt and pepper. Add a stir. And we're just going to let that go until our veggies are nice and soft and our onions are starting to turn translucent. Okay, while that's happening, I'm going to prep my spinach, and you're going to need about almost this whole thing of spinach. This is a 5-ounce container of spinach. I like using the fresh baby spinach, but you could use frozen if you prefer. If you use the fresh spinach, make sure you use the baby spinach. I've used regular spinach, and it doesn't turn out as good as using the baby spinach. So I use fresh baby spinach, and what I do is I just put it on my cutting board and just give it a rough chop. So that's what I'm going to do while my veggies are going. And I know it looks like a lot of spinach, but if you've never cooked spinach before, it really cooks down. So I'm going to use the majority of what is in this container. I think you can see okay. And I'm going to put the rest of this on my cutting board and chop it up. and I've left it whole before because it is baby spinach, but I think it cooks down just a little bit faster and easier if you just give it a rough chop first. Okay, let's stir our veggies. Okay, our onions are starting to turn translucent here, and our peppers are starting to soften up. So now what we're going to do is we're going to wilt down our spinach. So we're going to take all that spinach we chopped, and we're going to add it to the pan. And I'm going to, at this point, you want to make sure your heat is like a medium-low. So I turned mine down just a little bit. And see how that spinach is really starting to wilt down. Have that beautiful green color. We love that. Okay. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take half a brick of Philadelphia cream cheese, or whatever cream cheese you like, and just cut that in half. I only need half of the brick. So while my spinach is wilting down, I'm going to cut my cream cheese. And I just kind of cut the half in chunks. It makes it easier to melt down in the pan. Give this a stir. See how that's all wilting down? And you want to make sure that it's nice and wilted before you start adding your cheeses. There are lots of different recipes out there for spinach artichoke dip. This is just the way I do it. This is the way my family likes it, but they're all really delicious. And I think the red pepper, the addition of the red pepper makes it pretty. Okay, that's wilted pretty well. So now we're going to go ahead and add our cream cheese. And then I'm going to add about a half a cup of sour cream. And you can measure this if you want. I tend to eyeball it. And at this point, you want to make sure your heat is not very high at all. So definitely lower your temperature a little bit. We don't want any of this to burn. So we've got about a half a cup of sour cream. And then we're also going to add a half a cup of real mayonnaise. A half a cup or so. I'm going to let that all melt down and get happy together. And while that's happening, I'm going to give my artichoke hearts a rough chop. And I like to use the marinated artichoke hearts. The marinated part adds nice flavor, but I drain them. So I'm going to go ahead and drain those off. So we still have some of the flavor, but not the brine. And then I just pour them on my board and just give them a nice rough chop. If you just want to make spinach dip and you don't want the artichokes in there, you can leave the artichokes out, but the artichokes are great. Nice, salty, briny flavor. A little bit of texture is what they add to the dip. They're really good. I never thought I was a big fan of artichokes, but I love them in this dip. Really, really good. Okay. All right, our cream cheese is almost melted down. So now I'm going to go ahead and add a 5-cheese Italian blend. You could use all mozzarella here, or provolone, whatever Italian cheeses you like. But we want about a cup, and that's about what I had left in this bag. Okay, so we're going to add that and let that melt in with our other cheese, our mayo, and our sour cream. See how pretty it is with the flecks of the red pepper in there? And the red pepper really just adds a great flavor that you can't get with anything else. I've made it without the red peppers before, and I don't like it as well. Let that melt down, and at this point we can go ahead and add our artichoke hearts. Stir that all together so everything's nice and incorporated. And then I'm going to pour all this into a pie plate that I have sprayed with nonstick cooking spray, but you can use any kind of baking dish you want. The pie plate just, I think, is a perfect size and works really well here. So I'm going to go ahead and add that, put that in, turn my heat off, and add that to my pie plate. And then we're going to top this off with some freshly grated Parmesan cheese. Spread that around so that's a nice even layer. Out of the way. And then have my Parmesan cheese. And we're just going to grate that over the top. And the Parmesan cheese obviously adds a little bit of flavor, but really it makes the top brown really nicely. And so you have this nice brown crust on top of your dip. And it makes it pretty when it browns up. And you can add as much as you like. If you're a cheese lover, add lots. Okay, I'm gonna pop this into a 425-degree oven for roughly 10 to 15 minutes. We just want it to get nice and bubbly, everything nicely heated through, and we want to get a nice lightly golden brown crust on top. And I'm going to do that, and I'll bring you back when we're ready to take it out. Hey guys, we're back. Our spinach artichoke dip only took about 10 minutes to get nice and bubbly, and the top has a light golden brown crust on it from the Parmesan cheese. Really, really delicious. Now we like to serve ours with just plain old tortilla chips, but there you could serve it with pita chips. You could use fresh veggies to dip in it. You can spread it on Italian bread or garlic bread. Lots of different ways to serve it. I also wanted to mention that you could change this up in that instead of making a dip out of it, if you cooked some pasta and added some pasta water to it or thinned it out with a little bit of milk, you can use it as a sauce for pasta. It's really great if you stuff it in a chicken breast and then bake your chicken breast in the oven. You've got a nice filling for chicken breast. You can use it as a filling for lasagna, all kinds of pizza too. I forgot about that. You can make French bread pizza with it. Just add some extra mozzarella cheese on top of the bread. Bake it in the oven like you would a pizza. Really, really delicious. Just so many ways to use it, and I'm sure you can create your own ways to use it. So it's really versatile, and it's more than just a dip, but it's truly, truly delicious. And for you skeptics out there who think that you don't like spinach or you don't like artichokes, I highly encourage you to give it a try anyway. My kids have had lots of friends over who swore that they didn't like spinach, or they swore they didn't like artichokes, and were just really certain that they were not going to like this dip. Well, they tried it and they loved it. So I really encourage you to give it a try, even if you think you're not a lover of spinach or artichokes. It's a great appetizer, and as you saw, it's super simple to do. It's just sauteing veggies and melting cheese. Super simple. Who can't melt cheese or saute veggies? So I know you can do it, and I would love to see you give it a try. Thanks for coming along with me today. If you like this recipe, give me a thumbs up. If you are not a subscriber, hit the subscribe button and subscribe to my channel. I'm excited for the new year, have some fun ideas for videos coming up, and I don't want you to miss out on any of the fun. So hit the subscribe button and come along with me. Thanks for joining me today, and I'll see you next time. Have a great day.